So I promised you guys too that I was going to show you a comparison of these nail tips. And remember I said that on her website, I think it said XL, but we know these are XXXL, extreme, supreme, like I said, right? So I'm going to take one of these out, and I love them. I love these tips. So here are her tips. Oh, let me put it where you can see it. So that's hers. These right here came from, so you could see the bag, of course, AliExpress. We can tell by the bag, but even some companies use the same bag. I'm gonna get one out in the same size because that was a 5, so I'm gonna look for at least a 5 or a 6 or something like that so we can compare. Y'all, these things right here, these things were a big pain to pain. So by comparison, by sight, they kind of look similar, right? This one has a cloudier look. You may not be able to tell because of the background. You can tell now this one has a cloudier look. This one is much clearer. This one right here, these nails right here, you couldn't do, they're not flexible, and they feel so heavy on the hands once you put them on. Look at the flexibility in these. See the difference? This isn't good. You should have something that's somewhat flexible, similar, you know, like your natural nails have some flexibility in them. This is not good. The other thing was, it was extremely difficult. Oh my gosh, these things were, because I was trying to cut them into like a stiletto shape, and I really hate to get these out because I really don't want to ruin these. These scissors are not cheap, but I'm going to use my stork scissors. They were so hard to cut. Now it's going to be easy just because I'm showing you guys, but they are so, you have to use a lot of force just to cut through these. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go ahead and cut into hers. So much more easier. You see that? So those tips, if I remember where I got them from, because I'm probably gonna do stiletto or something close to it, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut them. Much easier to cut. These were like plastic piping, guys. They're just that stiff. Oh my gosh, I don't want to ruin my scissors. Much stiffer and harder to cut. The other thing was it kept skirting out. I ended up using the nail cutters and doing those straight cut. I did like a straight square end, but no matter what I used to cut it, the nail tip at the end kept skirting out, because when you cut, it causes the curvature of the nail to go flat, and it wouldn't return back to that normal state. And as I would be laying the acrylic as well would kind of skirt out towards the ends of the tips. So yeah, I wasn't crazy about these at all, but you know what? You kind of have to salvage your circumstances all the time. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll probably only use these on the practice hand, because these were just way too hard. I love hers. They're just right. They feel just right. So of course I'm going to be using her nail tips for the set as well. So we'll see you in a minute.
Hey NailTubers, what is up, Nailification Squad? Yeah, this is the set from my Vanessa Nailz acrylics. I used her glow in the dark. I believe this was Pink Burst, and since I didn't get any new colors from her, I think this is NotPolish Nude Panther, but the clear I used is definitely from her too. Remember, I had got that gigantuous jar? Which I'm starting with clear this time, because I'm sure you probably recognize times when I don't necessarily apply the clear. Like the last acrylic video, using my left hand, That blue was more translucent and doesn't stain like a heavily pigmented powder does. You guys do know that you don't always have to put a clear layer first, right? A lot of people also do it to have a layer to file down to when doing like a fill-in or another full set, which is more often how it's done. But for me, that blue wasn't going to stain and the set was going to be taken off right away altogether. I just wanted to make sure to explain that so that you know you're not necessarily going to do the exact same thing every time either. But you guys do a clear layer first if you're learning or practicing, because eventually you're going to decide for yourself too. You'll also run into other channels that go straight in with color and don't even cap with clear. So, like I said, you'll figure it all out for yourself as your skill improves and as you become more familiar. My 2 reasons for doing clear in this set was because this pink is very bright and pigmented. And on top of that, I couldn't decide whether or not to keep these on for a little while or not. Because you guys know we have to take off for videos. The other reason for the clear layer in this particular set is because of the length of the nails. You know, I call these like the XXXL length, the supreme. It will always be a good idea to reinforce with some strength. So there are many things for you to consider, and I'll keep saying everyone does a little differently. You'll figure out all the ins and outs for yourself as your skill improves and you have more confidence. So I did mix shapes in this set because, guys, I've been wanting to do this ever since I seen Femi doing sets like this a long time ago. And for whatever reason, I felt the idea I had in my head would be perfect for it. And I'm so glad I did, because I'm so obsessed with how they turned out. You'll see. So for the ring finger, I placed a thin layer of clear for the glitter. Oh, and this glitter is from FunkyFree Curls. And her name is Sharonda, and she's on Instagram as well as Etsy. She has a lot of beautiful glitters, and I think this one is Pink Lemonade. So guys, look her up. She has a gorgeous collection of glitters for you to check out as well. So the ring finger is going to be a glitter ombre into a clear glass tip. So today I decided to talk a little bit about when I started doing nails. In my full-time profession, we have regulations and can't wear nails, at least not the way I like. You know, like everything I've done on this channel. So I spent all these years not having my nails the way I really wanted them. So if I had them done, I had to either cut them down or take them off right away, which was kind of a waste of money, right? And I say a kind of a waste of money because, as I've mentioned a number of times before, a lot of products that are out now wasn't even on the market at that time, so there weren't as many choices to put your money into as far as nails. So this nail is going to be a 3-way ombre from nude to glitter to the solid pink. When I got to the nude, I placed a little more than I needed. So when this happens, you can either remove some or continue to work it until it blends. Now, it having glitter underneath, it's going to appear lumpy, but the clear will take care of that. So at that time, I was in between jobs and I wanted to learn how to do nails. And I know it's cliche, but there's so many of us, myself included, who developed a passion to learn it. For me, this is how I felt. I felt like no matter where I went, well, the few times that I did, the nails were done nice, but still not quite what I wanted. It's not that the work was bad, because that's not what I'm saying, but you had your vision on something different. And how does that expression go? Like something, and you can do it better yourself or something like that. So by all means, There's no attitude intended with this. I just felt like I could do exactly as I visioned. Anyone get what I'm saying? So I decided to go to school for it. And it got so hard in the end because I ended up getting called back to work. And that shook me a little because I hoped to be done with school before anything like that happened. But I made it both work together, and I'm so happy I did. After school, I got hired at a high-end salon right away and got straight into doing gel manicures because at high-end places, they're not going to do like the enhancements. Remember I said before when it was called no chip and everybody was into it at that time? So there was no such thing as polygel and other stuff, like at least not on the open market. Because at school we learned acrylic, builder gel, nail repair like with the silk wrap, and of course nail anatomy with nail conditions, and then the sanitation and disinfection. And obviously I'm not going to remember every single subject, but you guys get the idea. I really love the atmosphere of the high-end salon. Even as an employee, I felt relaxed. And that always serves well when you're doing personal services. But the thing was, I wasn't happy because I still wanted to pursue my interest in nails, which was acrylics at that time. And I also love 3D art so much. So eventually, I weighed the pros and cons and made the decision to leave. And I was really happy I did. I'll tell you this. The outcome of my decision was based on the fact that I was still relatively new and felt that I hadn't established a large enough clientele for myself yet where the move would make such a huge impact. In fact, it was probably the best moment to make this move. I just felt like there wasn't a lot to lose because it wasn't like those high-end clients, the high-end spa clients would leave those type of services and commit to me. It was like starting over again without that much of a loss. After leaving the spa, I worked at a shop where I got to do what I liked, and I was so happy. I could be me and more down to earth and candid without people getting so persnickety and easily offended. So I did that for quite a while, and when my primary workload became more demanding, as much as I love doing nails, my commitment to it at that time had to take a backseat to my first passion. Notice I said first passion. But I did want to stay connected and in touch with the nail profession, so that's when I started watching like YouTube channels, and they've been so inspiring, and I became encouraged to start my channel to share with you. And it's been quite a journey, but I would do it all over again if I had to.